Yep, I truly am back. I mean it this time. The title on the video is no joke. I actually quit my job. I had been working a full-time job for the last 4 years. That's why I've hardly been able to produce any new videos. I kept hoping I could, but it just wasn't working. So a couple years ago, I decided to start saving up some money to make this happen. And about a month ago, that day finally came. I was able to leave the job and get back to doing the things that I love, making gardening videos, among other things that I'm going to talk about in a minute. But this feels so good to be back doing this again, having time to manage the garden like we've been wanting to. We've had to cut back on how much we've been able to grow. But I've been so happy to see that even though I've only been able to put out 2 videos per year for the last 4 years, the channel has continued to grow, and we're up to over 16,000 subscribers right now, which is fantastic. Naturally, that makes me very happy, but it's also been hard to see that growing and to be getting questions from people wanting updates on many of the things that we have going on here. So it's been hard to not have the time to be able to provide those updates and make new videos. So it feels so good to be doing this again, and I really can't wait for what we can do this year. So thank you to everybody who has continued watching my videos that I put out over the last 8 years. If you are new to the channel, or you just happen to come across it and you clicked on it because of the title, and now you're just wondering, well, good for this guy, but who the heck is he anyway? Well, if you must know, my name is Greg, and we live in Iowa, and we're growing in agricultural zone 5B. I started this channel in 2018 because I was really interested in learning how to garden, but didn't know much of what I was doing, so I basically just been figuring it out as I go. My videos are not master classes or tips from a garden guru or anything like that. I'm basically just making videos about the things that I'm learning as I'm learning them, trying to take the time to put some research into it, and I definitely value quality over quantity. You won't be seeing videos from me every single week, but with the time that I have now, I promise it will definitely be more than 2 videos per year from now on. So as I mentioned in the beginning, I didn't quit my job just to make gardening videos. Yes, this is part of it, but as some of you may know, I am also a drummer. In fact, I have a whole separate channel all about that, and that's called, you guessed it, Some Room to Drum. So drumming is a much more significant part of my life and my identity than gardening is. I've been playing drums since I was a kid, and now I've even started teaching private lessons and recording from my home studio, and I'd also like to produce some drum courses to put up online on my website sometime in the future. And I'll be making lots more videos for YouTube and Instagram all about that stuff. So that's also why I'm not doing as much with the gardening, but again, I have so much more time and flexibility now to get to those videos that I've been thinking about for the last 4 years and actually give some updates on the things that people have been asking about. Speaking of which, we should probably do some updates right now. So before we get back to all the garden stuff, the first major update is our new deck. In 2024, I had to completely tear down the old deck, which was getting dangerous to use, and completely rebuild this new one from scratch. This was so much work. It took about 5 months to complete. I did most of the work myself, but I did have some help from a friend to dig the post holes, and of course my wife lent a hand here and there, but this was by far the biggest and most complicated construction project that I have ever undertaken. So I'm certainly not a professional deck builder, but thankfully I was able to watch just tons and tons of YouTube videos from the pros and from real life building inspectors to make sure that I was doing everything according to our local building codes every step of the way, and it passed inspection with no problems. So that was a really good feeling, and I gotta say, I'm pretty proud of how this turned out in the end, even though it does have a few little cosmetic imperfections in a few places. But it just took such a long time, so much work. It was exhausting. I could really only work on it on the weekends for the most part. So yeah, it was about 5 or 6 months that whole summer. And I had really hoped to document the process and make at least a video or two out of it for this channel. But then it really would have taken a crazy amount of time. I was so exhausted with the work. Having to film as I was doing it on top of that just wasn't going to work. So we'll just have to make do with these few video clips and photos that I got along the way. And now for the really fun stuff. I am so happy to report that for the first time ever, we do have peaches growing on both of our peach trees. I planted both of these in 2020. This is a Red Haven to my right and Alberta on my left. Now they are supposed to take about 3 to 5 years to start producing fruit, and this is now the 6th year. This is the first year that they're producing, and I should say that up until now, I hadn't actually fertilized the trees at all. I was just putting homemade compost and keeping mulch around them, hoping that that would be enough to feed them, but nothing was really happening. So for the first time this year, I decided to actually fertilize the trees with some fruit tree food, and voila, we have peaches growing. There aren't a ton of them. There are only a handful on each tree, but I can tell you, my wife and I have been waiting so long for these. I just have to ensure that they stay safe until harvest time, which should be, they're a little bit off from each other, but it's about the end of July into August. So I'm gonna do everything I can to make sure they stay safe until then, and we finally get to enjoy these peaches. Now, I'm sure many of you are really wanting to hear about how the Hugelkultur beds are doing, and so we're gonna do that now. They don't look like much at the moment because we've just transplanted our tomatoes and peppers into here over the last couple days. We also have carrots and kale and peas growing, and we're gonna be adding some beans and melons as well. Now, I don't wanna give too much information right now. I'd like to save that for some future videos this summer, but I can tell you that we have still been very happy with these beds every year. It doesn't matter what we grow here, everything does really well. Even if we're planting the same crops in the same places each year, everything thrives, and they just seem to have a lot of fertility. The soil is really easy to work with, especially this year when we were just planting the peppers yesterday. Digging into the soil is so easy. It just feels so nice. There's so much life happening in these beds. So we are still very happy with them, but we'll get more into that in future videos. So this is definitely my favorite part of the yard. This is what I have been referring to as the food forest. That's just this triangle garden space here. But to be honest, I don't know if it's fair to continue calling it a food forest. If you don't know, a food forest is supposed to be a self-sustaining ecosystem that is modeled after a real forest with many different layers, and all of those layers are supposed to provide food for people as well as for wildlife. And for one thing, we don't have all of those layers here. This is a very small space. Up until now, we've only really been getting walking onions and some herbs and maybe some violet leaves from this. Hopefully we are getting some peaches this year, but that's only because I have had to fertilize them, so it's not really self-sustaining. There needs to be a lot more going on here. Needs to have so much more variety and biodiversity for it to be a true food forest. I still love that idea of it. At least I can say that this has been a fantastic, popular destination for pollinators every year. In the middle of summer, this place is absolutely popping. We get so many butterflies and bees coming through here all throughout the summer. It's fantastic. and beautiful, and it really helps out everything that we have going on in our backyard. And the truth is, we do have more food growing separately from this space. We have strawberries, raspberries, and blueberries, and even clove currants, but they are not part of this whole cohesive ecosystem. So a food forest is not exactly accurate anymore to say that, but I would still like to expand this type of garden to have the rest of our backyard look more like this. That would be pretty amazing. Now, this is currently our strawberry patch. I initially planted these in the tree stump here. A few years ago, I had chopped out a bowl shape in the stump and threw some potting soil in there and planted the strawberries, and they just explored out from there. So that's great and all, but unfortunately, we don't get to enjoy enough of the strawberries before the wildlife gets them. So what I would like to do is transplant a bunch of these into a new separate garden bed, and I can build some kind of enclosure cage that's removable and I can put over them and keep them safe. And then I can leave the rest here growing out of the tree stump like some kind of fairy tale buffet for the rabbits and squirrels to feast on. Next up, we have our 2 blueberry bushes. They may be kind of hard to see here because everything is green, but I assure you there is a sweetheart blueberry over there, and this is a blueberry right here. And these are doing pretty well. They are still alive, at least. They are one of the things that has been neglected a little bit because I've been so busy otherwise. But I jumped the gun a bit and took off the fencing that I had protecting them, and over the winter something must have come through and munched on some of the branches, so that's kind of a bummer. I've never seen any deer in our yard, but I imagine that's what happened, so I definitely need to keep fencing around them over the winter. But more importantly, the soil needs a bit of work because as you may know, blueberries prefer a very acidic soil between 4 and 5. And when I planted these, I amended the soil with sulfur. I was able to get it down to about 4.6. I did a soil test last week and found that the pH had actually come back up to 5.7. And so the soil lab recommended using some ammonium sulfate because they also found that this area of the soil was already very high in potassium and phosphorus, so we don't need any of that. Ammonium sulfate is just going to give them nitrogen and sulfur, and that's perfect. The sulfur will help re-acidify the soil, and of course the nitrogen will allow them to put on a lot more new growth this summer, which is what we need. And they recommended doing this at a rate of about 1 pound per 50 square feet. So if we can get some new growth on them, get the plants nice and big and bushy, then keep the fence around them over the winter, keep them safe, and we'll have a much bigger harvest next year. Now, a few years ago, I did also make a video about how to make some planters out of cut log pieces, and I had a few people asking how those were holding up, and unfortunately you can see that they're not here anymore. They just this year had rotted out so much that they just fell apart completely. So I had to remove them, throw them into the wood pile. And I think the biggest problem with that is the fact that I used silver maple to make those. And that was just not a good choice. Silver maple is notorious for rotting significantly faster than just about any other type of wood. But I used those just because we had just had our silver maple tree cut down where the strawberries are growing right now. And I was trying to find something else to do with those pieces. And I could have done some things to preserve them a bit better. I didn't really want to worry about doing all that, so I just left them. And they only lasted a few years before they just totally fell apart. But at least for a little while, they looked nice, and the plants that we did have in there were happy for a little while anyway. So again, it might be kind of hard to see here with all the green, but there are 2 types of raspberries growing here. We have yellow everbearing variety over here, and then a red summerberry that has spread out a bit here. And I try to keep cages around the new growth to make sure that that stays safe. And so, yes, there are some known issues with growing different types of raspberries next to each other. The red and the yellow don't really have any problems. I have read about black raspberries possibly spreading fungal diseases or cross-pollinating with red and yellow varieties. But for these, it's not a big deal. If they happen to cross canes and kind of get mixed up, you're not sure what you're looking at, it doesn't really matter. It'll be okay. But anyway, the everbearing will produce 2 crops. They do produce on the new growth in the first year, and then in the second year they'll produce another crop. The summerberry, on the other hand, won't produce any fruit on the first year canes. You have to keep those safe until the second year to get a harvest from them. So just like with the strawberries and the blueberries, I need to keep these canes protected until the next year to make sure that we definitely get a good harvest. And finally, we do have a few things growing outside of the Hugelkultur beds. These are Yukon Gold potatoes. And then we have red and white onions, and hardneck and softneck garlic. And that is it for the moment anyway. Man, it feels so good to do this again. Thank you so much for watching. I really promise I'm going to get more videos out as soon as I can. If you are interested in my drum channel, please go check that out. Stay safe out there, take care of each other, and I'll see you again soon.